4 জন আছে মাত্র। মহারাজ ধন্যবাদ, প্রণাম।
Okay.
মহারাজ ধন্যবাদ, প্রণাম।
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam. Apni keman achen?
ভালো আছি মহারাজ।
Ami bala ache. Khub bala.
তো অনেক ধন্যবাদ সবাইকে জানাই। আমরা আজকে শ্রীমদ ভক্তি চৈতন্য স্বামী মহারাজকে পেয়েছি, আর সকাল থেকে আমরা শুনে এসেছি কিভাবে অন্যান্য যে সমস্ত সকাল সকালে আমরা শুনলাম শ্রীমদ জয়পতাকা স্বামী গুরু মহারাজ তিনি প্রবচন দিলেন, তারপরে শ্রীমদ ভক্তি প্রেম মহারাজ, তারপরে শ্রীমদ ভক্তি পুরুষোত্তম মহারাজ এখন আমাদের মাঝে উপস্থিত হয়েছেন। ইসকন জিবিসি একজন অন্যতম সদস্য, আর এই বছরের জন্য তিনি ইসকন জিবিসির চেয়ারম্যান শ্রীমদ ভক্তি চৈতন্য স্বামী মহারাজ। তো পারম্পরিক প্রথায় আমরা মহারাজকে স্বাগত জানাবো। হরি বল, হরি বল, হরি বল। তো মহারাজ সম্পর্কে একটু বলি। মহারাজ, I will just introduce you because many new people are watching this. We are streaming it live on Facebook.
Take ache.
তো ভক্তি চৈতন্য মহারাজ তিনি মূলত নিউজিল্যান্ডের বাসিন্দা, আর তিনি 1973 সালে ইসকন এসেছিলেন। আর তখন তিনি অকল্যান্ড ইউনিভার্সিটি, নিউজিল্যান্ডের একটা ইউনিভার্সিটি, সেখানে পড়াশোনা করতেন। আর তারপরে 73 সালে শিলা প্রভুপাদের সংস্পর্শে এসে ওনার দীক্ষা হয়। আর তার 11 বছর পর 1984 সালে তিনি মায়াপুরে সন্ন্যাস দীক্ষা গ্রহণ করেন। আর মহারাজ শুরুতে ভক্তি বেদান্ত বুক ট্রাস্টে ছিলেন, সেখানে তিনি অনেক দায়িত্ববান পজিশনে ছিলেন। তারপর থেকে মহারাজ ডারবানে আমাদের যে খুব বড় মন্দির আছে টেম্পল অফ আন্ডারস্ট্যান্ডিং, সেখানকার জন্য যত টাকা পয়সা সমস্ত মহারাজ এনেছিলেন। সে মন্দিরটা সুন্দর মন্দির, আমি গিয়েছিলাম সেখানে 14 সালে। খুব খুব সুন্দর মন্দির, সেখানে এত বছর ধরে সুন্দরভাবে প্রচার হচ্ছে। আর এছাড়া আমাদের গুরু মহারাজের শ্রীমদ ভক্তি চৈতন্য স্বামী গুরু মহারাজের খুব প্রিয় গুরু ভ্রাতা, আর ওনার মধ্যে খুবই একটা ভালো ঘনিষ্ঠ সম্পর্ক ছিল, এখনো আছে। আর আমাদের খুব ভাগ্যের বিষয় মহারাজ ওনার খুব ব্যস্ত সময়ের মধ্যে থেকে আমাদের জন্য সময় বের করে এখানে এসেছেন। আর পানিহাটিতে বিশেষ করে মহারাজ 2 বার এসেছিলেন, আর 2 বার যখন এসেছিলেন মহারাজের খুব ভালো লেগেছিল। আর মহারাজের আসার পর থেকে আমরা দেখেছি যে আমাদের পানিহাটির যে এত সুন্দরভাবে এগোচ্ছে। তো মহারাজ গতবার এসেছিলেন, তো মহারাজ বললেন কৃষ্ণ শক্তি বিনা না হয় তার প্রবর্তন। তো মহারাজ যখন যখন আসেন মহারাজ আমাদেরকে শক্তি প্রদান করেন, আশীর্বাচন প্রদান করেন। তো আজকে মহারাজ এসছেন, তো বেশি সময় না নিয়ে আমরা মহারাজকে পারম্পরিক ভাবে আগে মাল্যার্পণ করব। মহারাজ, দিস ইজ দ্য ট্রেডিশনাল ওয়েলকাম ফর ইউ, প্লিজ অ্যাকসেপ্ট গার্ল্যান্ড মহারাজ।
Take ache, dhanyavad.
And Maharaj, this is chida, dadhi, malsa bhog offered at Dand Mahotsav Tala today. So kindly accept it.
Dhanyavad.
হরে কৃষ্ণ। তো আমাদের অনেক ভাগ্যের বিষয় মহারাজ আমাদের মাঝে উপস্থিত হয়েছেন। তো এখন আমি মহারাজকে প্রার্থনা করব, মহারাজ হরিকথা পরিবেশন করবেন। আর মহারাজ এমনি খুব সুন্দর বাংলাও বুঝতে পারেন, মানে বলতেও পারেন টুকটাক। আর সুন্দরভাবে উনি চৈতন্য চরিতামৃতের অন্যান্য বই থেকে কিভাবে ঘুরে ঘুরে পরিভ্রমণ করে ভারতে বিভিন্ন জায়গা, সেটা উনি কালেকশন করে খুব সুন্দর বই বের করেছেন, বৃন্দাবনের উপরে আছে। আর মহারাজ ফটোগ্রাফি করতে, ফিল্মিং করতে ওনার খুব ভালোবাসেন। গতবার মহারাজ যখন এসেছিলেন তো বড় ক্যামেরা ওনার সমস্ত সেটআপ নিয়ে এসেছিলেন, খুব সুন্দরভাবে এখানে সমস্ত শুটিং করা হলো। তো অনেক ধন্যবাদ। তো মহারাজ, থ্যাংক ইউ সো মাচ, ইউ ক্যান প্লিজ কন্টিনিউ। থ্যাংক ইউ মহারাজ। হরে কৃষ্ণ।
Okay, we will go till for 1 hour, right? Is it?
Yes, Maharaj.
Ekanta. Okay, and we should do sentence by sentence.
Maharaj, as you like.
No, but
because translation, Maharaj, another devotee is doing, so he will do it
simultaneous.
Yes.
Acha. Okay, that's good. Okay, devotees. Hare Krishna. আমি Bengali জানি না, কিন্তু how to say, আমি আপনার দাস, আচ্ছা, something like that. I'm your servant. So thank you for inviting me. I'm very happy to again be at Panihati. Oh, Panihati is so nice. I just want to come there, but COVID, the COVID demon. So, all right. So first of all, some prayers. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Shrimati Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharne Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pastya Chadesh Tarne Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadha Srivas Adi Gaura Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Vanchkalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyevacha Paditanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. So yes, my obeisances to all of you. Mera dandavat pranam apka. My Hindi is little better than my Bengali. So devotees, I have been requested, I have been ordered to say some words about Sri Raghava Pandit. On this day of the Panihati Chida festival, Raghunath Das Goswami, Lord Nityananda, I will say some words about Raghava Pandit. His house is there, the temple is there. You all know, just nearby to our iskcon temple. I've been there a number of times. It's nice temple. Our iskcon temple is just too wonderful. Raghava Pandit's temple, it's nice. It's nice. So first thing, who is Raghava Pandit? He is very dear associate of Lord Chaitanya, of Lord Nityananda. In Vraja Leela, he is Dhanishta Gopi, one of the main Gopi associates of Lord Krishna. And in Krishna Leela, Dhanishta, Raghava Pandit as Dhanishta, is always engaged in preparing foodstuffs, cooking for Krishna. This is very important service. You know, the kitchen is under Srimati Radharani, and Dhanishta is one of the main cooks for Krishna, so she's very close to Radharani. Anyway, his sister is Damayanti, and you know, there's famous story how in Chaitanya Charitamrita, which we will go through in detail just in a little while, just coming up now. But his sister Damayanti would cook and cook and cook back in Navadvip, or in Panihati, when Lord Chaitanya was living in Puri. the sister, Raghava Pandit sister Damayanti, would cook for Lord Chaitanya so much, and Raghava Pandit would carry it with assistance from some other devotees. They'd carry all these bags and packages and everything of many foodstuffs cooked by the sister Damayanti. And those bags, they were called Raghavera Jali. So they would be delivered to Lord Chaitanya. And I'll just read one verse here right now. This is Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Leela. It is chapter 10, which is describing the different associates of Lord Chaitanya. And this verse I will read is verse 28. Se saba samagri age, kariba vistara, yahara shravane bhaktir, vahe ashrudhara, which means in English, I shall describe the contents of the bags of Raghava Pandit later in this book. It is in Antya Leela. This is Adi Leela, which I'm reading now. So he'll describe it later. And listen to this. Hearing this narration, devotees generally cry, and tears glide down from their eyes when they hear about Raghava Pandit and his Raghavera Jali and all that prasadam prepared by Raghava Pandit and by his sister Damayanti. It's very special. And if you're from Panihati, you know, in that temple of Raghava Pandit, they have that one room just on the side, on the right-hand side, I think just before you enter the actual temple room. And it's like very small little museum, you could say. And it has very nice displays of Raghava Pandit with his associates taking the prasadam to Puri, and some different items from the prasadam are there at that temple of Raghava Pandit. Okay, so now, first thing, you know, there are a number of places in Chaitanya Charitamrita where there are descriptions of different pastimes of Raghava Pandit. There's a few, and we will go through some of them. First thing I want to go through is from Madhya Leela. Madhya Leela, chapter 15. And it is the story of describing how Raghava Pandit was so concerned about standards of cleanliness in worship of the deity. Yes, he had amazing standards. And we must learn from this also. We must learn that the deity of the Lord must be respected very greatly and served in the finest ways, very, very clean and served from the heart of the devotee. This we can learn from Raghava Pandit. So, and Raghava Pandit, well, his special connection with Lord Chaitanya is through prasadam, as we already basically mentioned. So, Lord Chaitanya, we're looking through now some verses, Madhya Lila chapter 15. I'm on verse 68, and I'll go through. There's a number of verses describing Raghava Pandit's excellent, super excellent standards for offering food to the deity. So nice. Lord Chaitanya said to Raghava Pandit, Lord Chaitanya said that I am obliged to you. I am obliged to you due to your pure love for me. And you must know, devotees, if Guru Maharaj says, I am obliged to you for your service, you must know your life is perfect. So anyway, so the description is here then in this chapter 15, from verse 68 onwards, how Raghava Pandit rendered service in offerings to the deity. Because at home he had a temple. So the particular thing which is described is how he would offer coconuts, daubs. When will I see another Mayapur daub? Will I see it in this lifetime? I don't know. Anyway, the thing is, what's described is that Raghava Pandit, he was living there in Panihati, and he had many coconut palms, coconut trees. He had many. And he was growing many coconuts, so many. The Chaitanya Charitamrita says millions of coconuts. But he was so concerned to offer the best to the deity, to Krishna, that even though he had so many coconuts, he would go to different marketplaces, even 30 kilometers away. Dasha Krosh, Chaitanya Charitamrita says, it's approximately 30 kilometers. He would go just to get better coconuts, the best, because his feeling was for Krishna only the best. So he would travel. Even though he had so many coconuts, he would travel and he would pay money. His coconuts on his trees were just growing. He can just take them for nothing. But he would go 30 kilometers and pay good money to get better coconuts. So this Madhya Lila chapter 15, here I'm looking now at verse 73, it explains that when he was doing an offering to the deity, Bhoga offering, he would take 5 or 7 coconuts and prepare them so they're ready. You all know, he would cut hole in the top for drinking. So he'd put a hole in the top and of these 5 or 7 coconuts, and then he'd place them before the deity. And Chaitanya Charitamrita gives such an amazing description that the deity, Lord Krishna, would drink the juice from those coconuts. And sometimes when Raghava Pandit came back to take away the offering, after its offering is finished, he would find that the juice from the coconuts is finished. Krishna drank the juice. Sometimes Krishna drank the juice, sometimes he left the juice. And particularly when Raghava Pandit saw that Krishna has drunk all the juice, it's all gone, then he would feel very pleased. He would feel very pleased. And yes, then he would cut the coconut, open it, and take out the pulp from inside, and then he would offer the pulp to the deity, the white, inside. He would offer to the deity. And sometimes, just like with the juice, sometimes when he came back in to take away the offering plate, the pulp was gone. Krishna actually ate it. Krishna doesn't do that when I offer him some food. But when you're great devotee like Raghava Pandit, Krishna would do that. Not every time, but sometimes. So, and like this, Raghava Pandit was in ecstasy. So one special incident is described here. Special incident. That one day he got about 10 first-class coconuts, the very best in the world. And they were prepared for offering to the deity, but there was a delay. There was a little delay in taking the offering in front of the deity. There was a delay. So the servant who was holding some sort of box or container, what does it say? Oh, it doesn't say. But, a pot, phalapatra. Servant is holding these 10 coconuts. They're ready for offering. And he was standing in the doorway in the temple room. And then, as he's standing and waiting, and little time is passing, that servant, he lifted his hand. He lifted one hand and touched above the door, touched the ceiling. And then he brought down his hand and touched the coconuts, which he was holding in the phalapatra. So Raghava Pandit, when this happened, Raghava Pandit saw this, and he considered that people are always coming and going through that door, the door into the temple room from, outside somewhere. People are always coming and going through that doorway. And now the dust from their feet, when they pass through the door, they leave the foot dust on the floor, and the dust gets blown up and gets onto the ceiling there. And now the servant has touched the ceiling with his hand, and he's got some of that dust on his hand, and now he's touched the coconuts. So Raghava Pandit, his standard was so strict that even though they brought those coconuts from 30 kilometers and they paid good money for them, specifically for offering to the deity, but he would not allow it. No, 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 no. So these coconuts are no longer fit to be offered to the deity. He had them thrown away. They were thrown over the wall. And, I'm sure some people picked them up and used them, so they weren't wasted. But just see the standard of Raghava Pandit. Very, very strict standard. So they threw those coconuts away. Raghava Pandit had his assistants get some more coconuts, and they offered those coconuts. So, yeah. And so that specific example is given, but it is also mentioned in these following verses that not only did he collect the best coconuts, but he collected the best bananas, mangoes, oranges, jackfruit, and all things like this, the best from all around. And he had those prepared. Well, he would pay high price, and then he'd have them prepared nicely and offered to the deity. Different types of shak, lal sag, and meti sag, and so on, all different types of sag and other vegetables, and mooli, and chida also, and sandesh, and I'm sure he had chum chum. I'm sure he would get the best chum chum and have it and offer it to his deity, only the best. So this is what is described here. Oh, and he would prepare cakes, sweet rice, and kheer, and the cooking conditions, the kitchen was so super clean, and the cooks were so super clean, and all the vegetables and fruits were all so super clean and super quality. Everything was the highest standard. And he would offer achar. He would offer achar. And particularly, he would offer kashamdi. Do you know kashamdi? You know it. You know, when I come to Panihati next time, you must get me some kashamdi. Is that okay?
For sure.
Oh, yeah, because I like achar. I'm very fond.
Sure.
And if it's special achar from Raghava Pandit, I must have some. Yeah, so anyway, this example is given here. And then Lord Chaitanya said, this is verse 91, that Lord Chaitanya said that in this way, Raghava Pandit serves the Lord in an incomparable way. Everyone is very much satisfied just to see him. So then you know what Lord Chaitanya did, devotees, you know what he did? He embraced Raghava Pandit. And if Lord Chaitanya ever embraces you, you must know that is the perfection of your life. So, next thing I want to just mention, it's just something very brief. It's from Anchalila, just something very brief from the second chapter of Anchalila. Let's see. Verses 5 and 6. Well, in the purport of Anchalila chapter 2, verses 5 and 6, Srila Prabhupada makes the point that Lord Chaitanya always manifested what is called his avyabhava appearance. Means, it's sort of like a very subtle appearance. Maybe you can't see. So Lord Chaitanya would appear, but generally invisibly in the house of Mother Sachi, wherever Lord Nityananda danced, in the house of Srivas Thakur, and in the house of Raghava Pandit. Lord Chaitanya would regularly appear invisibly in those places. And particularly, it says about Raghava Pandit anyway, he would particularly appear there to take prasadam. Yeah, in the house of Raghava Pandit. He would go there to take prasadam, because that is the specialty of Raghava Pandit. Now, next thing I want to mention is from Anchalila chapter 6. And of course, that is the chapter in which there's the description of the festival we're celebrating today, the chida dadhi festival. Yeah, I'm not going to go through someone else is going to, or has already, I don't know, going to talk about the actual festival. But the thing is, in that chapter 6 of Anchalila, between verses 101, 101, and 154, there is a description of how, after that festival, after the big prasadam distribution program of chipped rice with dahi and chipped rice with kheer, after that, then Lord Chaitanya, Lord Nityananda and invisibly Lord Chaitanya came to the house of Raghava Pandit. If you know Panihati, that festival took place down just past our temple, just near our temple. It's just, I don't know, what is it, 100 meters or something? Yes, and then on the right-hand side, just overlooking the river, is the tree. I don't know if it's the original tree, but maybe it is. Maybe they took a branch from the original tree and planted it. But anyway, that's the place where the festival happened. And then from that place, if you're standing by the tree, looking at the river, up to your right is our iskcon temple. So you go up there, and then just near there, you turn right again, and you go up to the place of Raghava Pandit. So after that festival, the festival was sort of in the middle of the day, something like that. Then Lord Nityananda rested, and then in the evening, he went to the house of Raghava Pandit. And when he was there, he had big kirtan. Lord Chaitanya appeared. I mean, avirbhav, in a sort of mystical, more or less invisible appearance. And Lord Chaitanya watched the dancing of Lord Nityananda in the house, in the temple of the house of Raghava Pandit. Yeah. So then, after the kirtan, Lord Nityananda had a little rest, and then Raghava Pandit came and asked Lord Nityananda, you please come and take your supper, your evening prasadam. Please come. So Lord Nityananda, he sat down there with his different associates. He made, on his right side, he made a sitting place for Lord Chaitanya, and Lord Chaitanya came and sat there. We assume, anyway, let's just say Lord Chaitanya came and sat there. So then Raghava Pandit brought prasadam for them, and following that distributed prasad to the devotees. And there's a nice description of the prasadam which was offered. Let me just mention some. There was Nana Prakara Pita, varieties of cakes, payasa, you know payas, kind of sweet rice, divya shalyana, very fine rice. I don't know if it was Govinda Bhog or Basmati, but it was the best. It was the best. So that was offered, it was all offered to the deity and then served to Lord Nityananda and to Lord Chaitanya. And it's mentioned there that whenever Raghava Pandit would offer food, bhoga, to the deity in his temple, he would always do a separate offering for Lord Chaitanya at the same time. So one plate in front of the deity, and one plate, there was a special place for Lord Chaitanya. So it would be offered. That was his practice. So, and Lord Chaitanya would be there, although generally invisible, but sometimes Lord Chaitanya would let Raghava Pandit see him. This is all described here in these verses after 101. So, yeah. And so here, Raghava Pandit offered to Lord Nityananda and Lord Chaitanya after the chida dadhi festival. And you know, they ate everything. They ate everything, finished, ho gaya. And there's one verse here. It's chapters Antya-lila 6, 115. Exo Pandra. That Raghava Pandit brought so many presentations, so many types of food. No one could know them perfectly. People didn't even know what they were. Indeed, it was a fact that the Supreme Mother, Radharani, personally cooked in the house of Raghava Pandit. What a special devotee. Yeah. So like this, Lord Chaitanya, Lord Nityananda, after the festival, they took prasadam there. Then, you know, the festival was organized by Raghunath Das, and he was there. This is now in the evening. Raghunath Das is there at the house of Raghava Pandit. Raghava Pandit was like a Siksha guru for Raghunath Das. Yeah. His guru was, what was his name? Anyway, I forget his name, but the guru of Raghunath Das, anyway, yeah, I forget offhand, but so Raghava Pandit was not like his Diksha guru, but he was a Siksha guru.
Maharaj, it was Yadunandan Acharya?
Yeah.
Yadunandan Acharya.
Yadunandan. That's right. Yadunandan Acharya. Sorry. Yeah. So he was officially the guru, but Raghava Pandit was a Siksha guru. Really, like a real Siksha guru for Raghunath Das. So Raghunath Das was there, and Raghava Pandit served Lord Chaitanya, Lord Nityananda, and the other associates. And at the end, the devotees said to Raghunath Das, sit down, take prasad. But Raghava Pandit said, no, he will take prasadam later. So you see, he's like real authority for Raghunath Das. So then Raghava Pandit brought flower garlands, sandalwood pulp for Gaunitai, for Lord Chaitanya, Lord Nityananda, and he offered them betel. We do not take betel. Haribol. And then later, Raghunath Das wanted to approach Lord Chaitanya, Lord Nityananda, in the morning. In the morning, Raghunath Das went to Raghava Pandit's house because Lord Nityananda stayed overnight there. And Raghunath Das wanted to make an appeal to Lord Nityananda for mercy that he would be able to get the shelter of Lord Chaitanya. But Raghunath Das, he's a householder at this point. He didn't feel that he could approach Lord Nityananda and just really, present things to him. So he explained to Raghava Pandit, and Raghava Pandit presented an appeal to Lord Nityananda on behalf of Raghunath Das. Raghunath Das was there, but he was silent. And Raghava Pandit spoke on his behalf. So he said, let me just read one verse, what he said. This is verse 128. I am the lowest of men, the most sinful, fallen, and condemned. Nevertheless, I desire to attain shelter at the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Adama pamara mui hina jiva dhamma mora itcha hayapana Chaitanya charana. So like this, Raghava Pandit made this presentation to Lord Nityananda on behalf of Raghunath Das. And at the end, Raghava Pandit, on behalf of Raghunath Das, said, please place your feet on my head and give me that blessing that I will get the shelter of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Lord Nityananda put both of his feet, both of them, on the head of Raghunath Das. And Lord Nityananda gave the blessing. Let me just tell you the blessing. Let's see. Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Gaura Hari came here during the festival the day before. He came here personally to deliver you. Now, rest assured that all the impediments meant for your bondage are gone. And he says a very interesting thing, Lord Nityananda. He foretells the future to Raghunath Das. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will accept you and place you under the care of his secretary, Swarup Damodar. Thus, you will become one of the most confidential internal servants of Lord Chaitanya, and you will attain shelter at the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So like this, it's really nice. And this is Raghava Pandit. This is Raghava Pandit, such an important devotee. So now what I want to do, just for the last, 15, 20 minutes or whatever, something like that, I want to go on and go through the story of the Raghavera Jali. This is described in Antya-lila, chapter 10. Antya-lila, chapter 10. I missed out. Anyway, okay, yeah. No, I didn't miss anything. It's all right. So this is Antya-lila, chapter 10, and we will go through. There's about 25 verses. We'll just go through them roughly, explaining about the Raghavera Jali. The foods cooked by Damayanti, the sister of Raghava Pandit, in that house, which is just near our temple in Panihati, and also cooked by Raghava Pandit himself, and which Raghava Pandit and his assistants would carry to Puri when they would go to spend time with Lord Chaitanya and be there for Rath Yatra. So I think, what I'll do, I'll just read beginning with verse 13, Antya-lila chapter 10. Verse 13. Raghava Pandit came with bags full of food, prepared very nicely by his sister Damayanti. Damayanti made varieties of unparalleled food, just suitable for Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to eat. The Lord ate it continually for 1 year. Can you believe it? You make some nice lal sag and some nice rice, some nice Govind bhog, and you leave it for 1 year. I don't know. It might not be so good after 1 year. but what she cooked, it remained good for 1 year and sometimes more. And the Lord would eat it throughout the whole year and at the end of 1 year also. So now, here are some of the names of the preparations. And Sudevi, what's your name? Sudevi Mukherjee, is it? Sudevi Mukherjee? I can't see the whole name, but anyway.
Yes, Maharaj.
Hanji. Oh, Sudevi Mukherjee. I got it right. Okay. So Sudevi Mukherjee, I don't know if you can cook these things. So these are some of the things which Raghava Pandit brought in his Raghavera Jali. Amra Kashandi, Ada Kashandi, oh, Chala Kashandi. Can you make that, Sudevi? These are achars. Bahut Sundar ache. Nimbu Ada, Amra Koli, Amsi, Amakanda, Tailamra, and Amasata. And with great attention, Damayanti also made dried bitter vegetables into a powder. Oh. And here is a warning from Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. Do not neglect sukta because it is a bitter preparation. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu derived more happiness from eating sukta than from drinking panch amrita. Oh, Haribol. Actually, I must admit, I really love sukta. Okay, let us continue. We're just going to read some of these verses. This is verse 18. Since Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he extracts the purpose from everything. He accepted Damayanti's affection for him, and therefore he derived great pleasure even from the dried bitter leaves of Sukuta and from Kashandi. I'm waiting for Kashandi when I come next time. Because of her natural love for Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Damayanti considered the Lord an ordinary human being. Therefore, she thought that he would become sick by overeating, and there would be mucus within his abdomen. Amlapita. Because of sincere affection, she thought that eating the sukta would cure the Lord's disease. I'm waiting for the sukta too. Considering these affectionate thoughts of Damayanti, the Lord was very pleased. And then there's a verse from somewhere, but Bharavi, I won't read that verse. Now I'm on verse 22. Damayanti powdered coriander and anise seeds, cooked them with sugar, and made them into sweetmeats in the shape of small balls. She made sweetmeat balls with dried ginger to remove mucus caused by too much bile. Adrak, mishti. Oh. She put all these preparations separately into small cloth bags. She made 100 varieties of condiments, means like little achars, little chutney condiments. That's what condiments means. And pickles. She also made koli shunti, koli churna, koli kanda, and many other preparations. How many should I name? She made many sweetmeats in the shape of balls. Some were made with powdered coconut, and others looked as white as the water of the Ganges. In this way, she made many varieties of long-lasting sugar confections. She made long-lasting cheese, kirasara, many varieties of sweetmeats with milk and cream, and many other varied preparations such as amrita kapura. She made flat rice from fine, unboiled shali paddy and filled a large bag made with new cloth. She made some of the flat rice into puffed rice, fried it in ghee, cooked it in sugar juice, mixed in some camphor, and rolled it into balls. She powdered fried grains of fine rice, moistened the powder with ghee, and cooked it in a solution of sugar. Then she added camphor, black pepper, cloves, cardamom, and other spices, and rolled the mixture into balls that were very palatable and aromatic. She took parched rice from fine paddy, fried it in ghee, cooked it in a sugar solution, mixed in some camphor, and thus made a preparation called ukta or mudki. Sudevi Mukherjee or Ishwari Radhika, you know how to make ukta? Mudki? Yeah, nay. Why? Anyway, you must learn. Another variety of sweet was made with fused peas that were powdered, fried in ghee, and then cooked in sugar juice. Camphor was added, and then the mixture was rolled into balls. I could not mention the names of all these wonderful eatables, even in a lifetime. Damayanti made hundreds and thousands of varieties. Damayanti made all these preparations following the order of her brother, Raghava Pandit. So this is all going on under Raghava Pandit. Both of them had unlimited affection for Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and were advanced in devotional service. And listen to this. Damayanti took earth from the Ganges, dried it, powdered it, strained it through a fine cloth, mixed in aromatic ingredients, and rolled it into small balls. The condiments and similar items were put into thin earthen pots, and everything else was put into small cloth bags. So anyway, my gosh, it's amazing. Oh, well, there's just a couple more verses. From small bags, Damayanti made bags that were twice as large. Then with great attention, she filled all the large ones with the small ones. She then wrapped and sealed each and every bag with great attention. The bags were carried by 3 bearers, one after another. Thus, I have briefly described the bags that have become famous as Raghavera Jali. Wow. So like this, all this prasadam was brought down from Bengal, from Panihati to Puri, and then given to Lord Chaitanya. Actually, it was given to Govinda, Lord Chaitanya's servant. But so much, like many, many tens of kilos, maybe enough to fill this room behind me here. And the devotees would ask Govinda, did the Lord taste my offering? And Govinda would say, yes, he tasted it. But there was so much. There was just so much from Raghava Pandit, but from many other devotees. And Lord Chaitanya, he did not eat a lot. So all this prasadam is just building up and building up and building up. And Govinda approaches Lord Chaitanya and says, my Lord, what are we going to do with this prasadam? The devotees ask me, have you eaten it? And I have to lie to them. That, oh yes, the Lord ate it. But I can't continue. We have to do something. So Lord Chaitanya said, just bring it. And he just ate everything. Enough prasadam to fill this room behind me, you see? That's a lot of prasadam. He just ate it all, except for what Raghava Pandit had brought. Not that. Then Lord Chaitanya, for the following year, he ate just the prasadam brought by Raghava Pandit. For the whole year, every day, something. Lord Chaitanya ate for the whole year. So devotees, these are some things about Raghava Pandit. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to talk about this. It's just so nice. And I hope I have not made you too hungry. I am going to have lunch in a few minutes because here it is 12:30. Sare Barabaje. So, but anyway, I hope you have a very nice festival, and I'm looking forward to coming and being with you again when it's possible. by the mercy of Lord Chaitanya, Lord Nityananda, Raghunath Das Goswami, and Raghava Pandit. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Maharaj. Shri Srimad Bhakti Chaitanya Swami Maharaj ki jai. Maharaj, for your pleasure, our lordships will give you darshan.
Acha. Please.
So this is Shri Gaur Nitai, Panihati.
Oh, yes.
So the altar
I
has been
remember.
decorated. And
Jai
Maharaj,
Jai Gaur Nitai. How beautiful.
this is next we'll show you. Okay, so they are zooming in.
Jai Gaur Nitai, Jai Gaur Nitai. Thank you.
This is Mahotsav Tala, Maharaj.
Jai Prabhupada.
So this is the actual place where the festival happens every year. This year too, there is crowd, although due to lockdown, still some people made it, and we did distribute prasad to some devotees.
Acha. Acha.
This is that tree.
That's the tree. Yes.
500 years old.
Acha. I remember. Oh, Jai Ho. So wonderful. Thank you.
And Maharaj, this is another scene from the same place. So there is a small temple there. So right
Acha.
now our devotees are standing there. They're streaming live from that place. So Mahaprabhu was here and Mahaprabhu visited all these places.
Jai Ho, Jai Ho.
And Maharaj, last but not the least, Darshan.
Acha. Jai Gangamai Ki Jai. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Maharaj, for your time, and so lovingly you have described all these pastimes. Although we stay here, but I have never really understood the value of prasadam so much as you described it today. So thank you so much, Maharaj. Please, next time whenever you come, we have kashundis, all the kashundis ready for you.
Okay.
So that you can enjoy them.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
Shri Srimad Bhakti Chaitanya Swami Maharaj ki jai.
Hare
Shri
Bol.
Prabhupada ki jai.
Bad Milenge.
এখন অনেক ধন্যবাদ। হরে কৃষ্ণ। এখন 1 ঘন্টা পর 5টা সময় থেকে শ্রী শ্রীমদ ভক্তিচারু স্বামী গুরু মহারাজ বলবেন, আপনারা থাকুন এখানে, আমাদের মাঝখানে কোথাও যাবেন না, গঙ্গা দর্শন করে নিন, গঙ্গা স্নানের আনন্দ নিন। এইদিকে শ্রী শ্রী গৌরনিতাই রয়েছেন, গৌরনিতাইকে দর্শন করুন। অনেকেরা আপনারা আসতে পারেননি, আমরা জানি, তার জন্য কোনো আফসোস করবেন না, সুন্দরভাবে দর্শন করুন। হচ্ছে মহোৎসব তলা। অনেক ধন্যবাদ। হরে কৃষ্ণ।